Chase Elliott and Joey Logano just gave NASCAR fans exactly the kind of drama they live for. On-track contact, heated words afterward, and now a full-blown feud that has social media completely divided. This is not just another racing incident. This is personal. And it all went down in a way that has fans picking sides, analysts breaking down every angle, and both drivers making it very clear they are not backing down. So in this video, we're breaking down exactly what happened on the track, what both drivers said afterward, how the fan bases are reacting, and whether this feud is about to get even bigger. Because when Chase Elliott and Joey Logano go at it, the NASCAR world pays attention. Let's get into it. The incident itself happened during a key moment in the race. Elliott and Logano were battling for position when contact was made. It was not a love tap. It was not incidental side-by-side racing. This was aggressive, intentional-looking contact that sent one car off course and immediately changed the complexion of both drivers' days. From the replay, you could see Logano's car make a move that looked borderline over the line. Whether it was a racing move or something more deliberate depends on who you ask. But what is not up for debate is this: Chase Elliott did not take it well at all. And honestly, you could feel the tension building even before the race was over. Because when two drivers with this much history, this many passionate fans, and this kind of competitive fire get into it on the track, you know the story is not ending when the checkered flag drops. That is exactly what happened here. After the race, Chase Elliott did not hold back. In his post-race interview, he made it very clear he felt Logano crossed the line. He said the move was unnecessary, overly aggressive, and the kind of racing that creates problems down the road. Elliott's tone was calm, but his message was sharp. He was not yelling. He was not losing his cool. But he was absolutely sending a message. And that message was this: I am not forgetting this. That is the kind of response that tells you this situation is not over. Because in NASCAR, when a driver stays that composed while calling someone out, it usually means they are planning their response carefully. It means they are not reacting emotionally in the moment. They are thinking long-term, and that should make Joey Logano very aware of what might be coming. On the other side, Joey Logano had his own take. He defended the move and said he was just racing hard for position. He argued that contact like that is part of NASCAR, and if Elliott has a problem with it, that is on him. Logano basically said he is not apologizing for racing aggressively, and if people do not like it, tough. That is classic Joey Logano. He has never been the type to back down or soften his approach just because someone is upset. And that is exactly why this feud has so much potential to escalate. Because you now have two drivers who are both refusing to give an inch. Elliott feels wronged and is not letting it go. Logano feels justified and is not apologizing. That is the perfect recipe for ongoing tension. And NASCAR fans absolutely love it. Because let's be honest, this is the kind of storyline that makes the sport more interesting. This is not manufactured drama. This is not some fake WWE-style conflict created for TV. This is two elite drivers who genuinely do not like what the other one did, and they are both making that very clear. That is real. And real drama is what keeps fans talking. Now let's talk about the fan reaction, because this is where things get really intense. Chase Elliott has one of the biggest, most loyal fan bases in all of NASCAR. His supporters are passionate, loud, and they do not take kindly to anyone they feel disrespected their driver. So when the incident happened, Elliott's fans immediately flooded social media calling out Logano. They said the move was dirty. They said it was typical Logano behavior. They said NASCAR needs to penalize drivers who race like that. Some even called for suspensions or points penalties. That is how fired up Elliott's fan base got. On the other side, Joey Logano's supporters fired right back. They argued that Elliott fans complain every time their driver gets raced hard. They said the contact was clean, that it is just racing, and that Elliott needs to stop acting like a victim every time something does not go his way. They also pointed out that Elliott himself has made aggressive moves in the past, so he should not be surprised when it happens to him. That back and forth between the two fan bases has been non-stop. Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere you look, fans are going at it, and honestly, that is part of what makes this story so big. Because it is not just two drivers feuding, It is two massive fan bases clashing over who was right and who was wrong. And when fan bases get involved at that level, the story takes on a life of its own. Now here is where things could get even more interesting. This feud is not happening in a vacuum. Both Chase Elliott and Joey Logano are playoff contenders. That means every race from here on out carries massive weight. And when you add personal tension on top of championship pressure, things can get unpredictable very quickly. If these two end up battling for position again in a high-stakes race, you better believe the gloves might come off. Elliott might decide it is time to send his own message. Logano might push even harder just to prove he is not intimidated. And when that happens, the racing could get very physical very fast. That is the kind of situation NASCAR fans dream about, not because they want to see wrecks, but because they want to see real competition, real emotion, and real consequences. And this feud has all of that. Another thing worth mentioning is the history between these two. This is not the first time Chase Elliott and Joey Logano have had tension. They have had run-ins before. They have made contact in the past. And there has always been an underlying edge to their rivalry. So this latest incident is not coming out of nowhere. This is part of a longer story. And that makes it even more compelling. Because now fans are not just reacting to one moment. They are reacting to a pattern. They are reacting to years of buildup. And that gives this feud a lot more weight than just a single race incident. It feels like something that has been brewing for a long time and is finally boiling over. That is the kind of storyline that keeps people invested. So what happens next? That is the big question. Does this feud stay verbal, or does it turn into on-track retaliation? Does NASCAR step in and try to cool things down, or do they let it play out? And most importantly, how do Elliott and Logano handle the next time they are racing each other for position? Those are the questions that will define the next chapter of this story. And honestly, I think the answer depends on how the next few races go. If they end up battling again soon, the tension will be impossible to ignore. If they do not cross paths for a while, things might cool off naturally. But based on what both drivers said after the race, I do not think either one is ready to let this go just yet. Elliott sounded like someone who is going to remember this moment. Logano sounded like someone who is ready to do it again if the situation calls for it. That tells me this story is far from over. And that is exactly why this is one of the biggest talking points in NASCAR right now. Because when two top drivers, two huge fan bases, and playoff implications all collide, you get the kind of drama that defines a season. So yes, Chase Elliott and Joey Logano are feuding. And yes, it could get a lot more intense before it is over. Now I want to hear from you. Who do you think was in the wrong, Chase Elliott or Joey Logano? Was the contact dirty, or was it just hard racing? And do you think this feud is going to lead to more drama on the track? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want daily NASCAR news, race reactions, playoff updates, controversy breakdowns, and the biggest stories from around the sport, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.